actor, more of someone who would strum the guitar and enthrall all the audiences. I mean, we were definitely scared of the ball that he was bowling.
But there's so much we can talk to as we welcome Brett, Lee and Timmy Cahill. Thanks for joining us on TSB.
Hey guys, good to be here.
Pleasure, gentlemen.
It's great to see you here. You're in town, first of all, in regards to the Better Breathing in Sport, which has been developed to provide a new level of comfort in some intense sporting moments. Talk to us about exactly what is Better Breathing Sport.
Well, it's a device that will open up your airways and your lungs, so it improves your lung capacity. You don't have to be an athlete to use the device. The greatest thing, and how I've known Timmy for couple of decades now. My mother actually went through some bad dose of bronchitis, was struggling. He sent her down a device and fixed her up in 3 days. So I thought, I want to be a part of this journey. I'm using it. We're over in India. I was playing over there in a couple of tournaments only last week. And before I went out on the pitch, I was using it, and actually just makes you feel so much better. So great to be involved with them.
I think I might actually need it now because we just played table tennis.
He towed me up. All right, you beat me.
No, to be honest, guys, 20 years we've known each other. When it comes to health and comes to grassroots educational programs in Australia, quite globally, we do a lot of stuff together. But with this device, it helps. Now I'm retired, just to warm up before I play. It helps me with my sleep before I go to bed. Recovery times, things like that. And also it improves health, which is the most important thing.
You know, on that, this sounds like an incredible device. If you're using that when you play table tennis, it reminds me of a story I want to clear up. There's a rumour that's going around that for many, quite in the media circles back home, you were staying at the house of an Australian broadcaster called Alan Jones. And he woke. I can see Tim's reaction here. And you woke him up at 2 a.m. because you were still playing tennis because the two of you were so competitive. You had to keep going. Is that true?
Yeah,
in the rain. In the rain.
Well, it was actually sleet. It was almost snow. And AJ was like, "Guys, go to bed, would you?" But we're up, and we are so competitive. Whether it's having a kick with the soccer ball, having a game of cricket, having a game of table tennis, literally 10, 15 minutes ago, we both want to win and get one up on each other.
Yeah, definitely. And when it was raining, and literally AJ was calling us inside, and we wouldn't go inside like kids. I'm probably one of the only guys that's broken one of AJ's tennis rackets as well, so that can go on record as well.
This is a fantastic story. Now, back to the breathing device, because I know for a fact that Kitch will pull out stories after stories like a magician pulls out a rabbit. But about the device, how does it technically work? If I have to probably get into the science of it.
Look, the greatest thing about this, and for those that can actually obviously see online, and I'll try to articulate so you can listen in and explain what's going to happen. Most breathing devices that you use, you have to plug it in somewhere. They're big, they're bulky, and you actually take the breath in. This device, you actually breathe out. And it's a very, very simple little ball bearing that goes in the top, sits in the top, and all you want to do with a ball bearing is get the ball bearing to move. Once that rattles, once that vibrates, that goes down into your lungs, goes down into your bones, literally clears all your chest, gets rid of all the mucus. So you don't have to plug it in. You can reuse it over and over and over again. You're not breathing any harmful chemicals or steroids. You breathe out, opens up your lungs, opens up your airways, and you just feel so much better. Like, you literally, after using it for a week or so, it's a whole new quality of life.
But it's also, imagine you guys work out, and you might wake up, you think I'm going to, just get fit. So I'm just going to go outside and run. But before you run, you don't warm up. And then you get that feeling where your chest is heavy, or if it's cold, it's sore. This sort of just opens the airways and allows it to expand. There's different devices with different sizes. So the kids one has a smaller ball bearing, so it's easier for it to flutter as you breathe into it. And for the sports device, obviously the ball bearing is bigger, so it's challenging. So these sort of elements, you do it in the morning, basically 3 to 5 minutes, and you do it before you sleep, you do it before you exercise. But also it helps you with controlling your breathing. It helps you relax. It also helps with recovery. It helps you with sleep. So, look, we played for 20 years. And if it improves us as athletes and even retired and improves health, then there's this is a device that's sold over 500,000 already. Wow. It's not something that's new. This is just something where we're educating the public and we're taking the sports device to another level, the children's device. Better breathing. And I suppose everything comes with education. So Binga was in India last week launching it. We're here in Dubai. It was great to go and visit some radio stations, talk with you guys, meet the people here in Dubai, and slowly spread the message of what it's doing for us as athletes and also families at home.
No, definitely. Technology in sports has taken a sports person career from what it used to be to what it potentially could be, with the load increasing literally with every, series added up, with every franchise league that's coming up. Small things as far as technology is concerned, enhances the lifetime of a player in his career. Is there anything specific that you look back at your career and say that maybe this was a point where if we had enough support, things could have been better injury-wise or performance-wise?
Yeah, well, look, I think, and Timmy articulated beautifully, as athletes, we still kick a ball around, we still play cricket. I was literally playing a couple of competitions last week back in India. You just want to be the best that you possibly can. You challenge yourself. I was never one to walk onto the field without giving 100%. I left everything out in the field. And there were times when, of course, you lose a game of match. You lose a game of cricket, you lose a match. But as long as you've done your best and the way that you prepare. So for me, I was always trying new things to bowl 160 Ks because I knew that was like running the 4-minute mile. I had to be the quickest runner in the team. I had to be the fittest in the team. I look back and literally, if I had this 20 years ago, I reckon that my lung capacity would have increased, because when you first use it, the simple way to test yourself is you breathe out. And how long can you breathe out for? It might be 3, 5, 6, 7 seconds. After a couple of weeks, you can get about a 20-second breath pushed out. Mm-hmm. So you know that when you're running in. As a bowler, I'm covering anywhere from 17 to 18 kilometres per day. So I'm almost doing a mini marathon every single day. Every kilogram you carry counts. Every single time that you breathe in, your hydration, your rest, your recovery, that's all what makes you the athlete. So it's all about putting back in.
I agree, because to echo that, look, I'll give you an example on that. As a player, I played till I was 39. My last 10 years of my career, I had my own physio that traveled with me everywhere, and I'm talking China, New York, America, India as well in the back end of my career. Playing 4 World Cups, it doesn't happen by luck. To play till you're 39, 22 years doesn't happen by luck. So when it comes to high performance, I was on the machines where you put a mask on at Everton and sitting on it 40 minutes before training, just sitting there breathing, getting a massage, whatever, taking in altitude, and then after training. So I was going in the altitude rooms on the bikes. But to run 11.5 Ks, 13 Ks a game, that doesn't come because you're fit. It comes because you're doing everything and anything. So I'll be honest with you, I'm very competitive, and literally these sort of things to me, doesn't matter whether I'm retired. Like, we're playing table tennis, right? But we're going straight away now to play table tennis, and tonight I'm forcing them to play paddle.
Because paddle tennis is great.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
At 42 years old, you know what I mean? Is keep active and keep fit.
Well, it's almost a scary thought there, Brett, that if you had had this for your career, because, one of the great things about your career as a fast bowler is you were able to consistently bowl at that speed for so many years. We often joke here in the studios that Shoaib Akhtar was fast for about 5 minutes and then he was off, and you kept going fast for just years and years and years. And, why do you think you were able to just remain, what were you doing compared to other fast bowlers to be able to maintain at such a high level for so long?
I had to go down, I know this sounds like a cliche, but I had to go down a road that hadn't been travelled down before. So the way I trained, a lot of fast bowlers, they the coaches will get them in the gym, they'll bulk them up. That's the quickest way to slow a bowler down, in my opinion. To me, it was about being a sprinter. So if I want to teach a young boy or girl how to bowl fast, I'll take the cricket ball out of their hand, I'll work on their sprint technique, I'll get them running down hills as a different technique to speed up and actually train your brain to think you're running quicker, because you have to run downhill. Obviously, you will run quicker. So then when you get out to the field, you're in much better shape. I also, for me to hit 150 Ks, I was redlining. That was 100% to get to 150 Ks. So I had to train smarter. My run-up was around about, it started probably way too long, about 45 metres. I shaved about a metre off every single year, but got down to, say, 30 metres was my run-up. So after I'd bowl in training, I'd go mark a run-up for 40 metres, and run in at 100%. So do 100% sprints times 20. And then when I get out to the game, I'm doing 10 meters less and running at 90%. So I would hit 150 Ks at 90%. So when I wanted that extra little bit of kick to get to that 155 or 160 or 161, where I was lucky to do it a few times, that's what's in the tank.
I think I need a better breathing sport just listening to that. I think I'm tired, I'm out of breath just listening to that, guys. But look, as a sports fan, I mean, the next couple of...
the right people.
Yeah. And well, the next couple of months, I mean, how amazing is this for sports fans? We've got 2 massive World Cups coming up. The World Cup in Qatar, which, Timmy, we know you've been in Qatar doing some work. The first one's going to be the Cricket World Cup. Brett, at this stage, who do you see are the favourites going into this tournament?
Well, mate, as you being an Aussie as well, it's going to be hard to back against Australia. I'm very patriotic. I'm very proud of Australia, but they're really starting to sort of hit their straps at the moment. Defending champions, playing on their or our home soil. The wickets will be conducive to fast bowling, which suits our attack. I think it suits our batting top 4 or 5. Probably the other 2 teams I've earmarked are India and Pakistan. I think India have had a huge loss, unfortunately, with no Jasprit Bumrah out with a back injury. That's a huge loss for India. But they've still got the guys that can do it. Bowling at the death to bowl those perfect Yorkers. And in terms of Pakistan, Babar Azam. If Babar Azam can get off to a flyer, score some runs, possibly the best cover drive in world cricket, Pakistan can definitely give it a red hot crack too.
Well, that's a very interesting insight over there. Now, we're talking about T20 cricket. Timmy will come to you with that question about your favourites in the World Cup. But Brett, with T20 cricket these days, these lads can literally hit all around the park. 360 has become the norm. You bowl them a Yorker, they'll hit between legs. You bowl them a short delivery, they'll ramp it up. Where does the fast bowler bowl to batters in T20 cricket?
First of all, there's a lot of praying before I leave my room. I say that. I have a theory that when I play T20 cricket, because look, let's be honest, it's a batsman's game. We're there just to make the batsman look good. That's the way I sum up the conditions. But I always have a saying that you get the ego, you put it into the safe, you punch in your passcode, leave the ego at the hotel, because you're going to get hit for 6s. It's part of the game. You're going to get hit for 4s. I don't mind getting hit for 4 or 6 off my terms. If I miss my length, if I don't bowl the correct ball, if I doubt myself and don't follow through with delivering that perfect ball and get hit for 6 off their length, well, that's a different story.
And looking at the World Cup that's coming in Qatar, Timmy, I've got tickets to see the Socceroos. I'm going over there. I'm excited. How do you think our boys, our Australians, are going to go? We've got France, Tunisia, and then Denmark. Where can you see us getting enough points to get through to the next round?
Look, listen, this is going to be the biggest show on earth. It's around the corner for you guys. It's amazing for the region. First of its kind in the Middle East. It truly will be remarkable. Look, I'm lucky. I'm the Chief Sports Officer of Aspire Academy. It's a national curriculum of the country, which will host Qatar national team and also Australia. Yeah. So I'll be running on the ground with the Australian national team, high performance, you name it, state of the art, everything from the dorms to where they sleep to working out to recovery at Aspetar. It's a new team. It's the 5th consecutive World Cup for Australia qualifying. And it's something for me that's really, really important to impact the country, impact grassroots, and also the Women's World Cup that's happening. And it's going to be difficult. When you play France, retaining the title for them, they'll be defending it. I think we have to play for at least a draw. You get a point against France, then against Tunisia, there is no draws. Someone has to win. 4 points can get you through a group. 2006, when I played, we got through our group, but we had the most magical time in Germany. But then, say again, 2010, we got 4 points and we got knocked out. Yeah. So I think it'll come down to the first 2 games. Denmark will just be a formality, depending how the first game goes between France and Denmark as well, or how they play. But World Cups, it's there for everyone. It's truly remarkable. It's exciting times.
And how are you going to feel? It's the first World Cup that doesn't feature Tim Cahill since 2002. How is it going to be seeing the boys run around there? Yeah.
Listen, my cup's full, honestly. 4 World Cups, Asian Cups, Olympic Games, played all around the world. It was an absolute pleasure. I think for me, the role that I play now as an executive is really important. How I can help the team from a performance level, from also on the ground, making sure that it's seamless, living in Qatar. But to be honest with you, it's a time for me to enjoy it. You know, I'm lucky enough. My son's 19. I've got 4 kids. He's been to Olympic Games, all the World Cups with me. He's seen it. Now he gets to sit next to me and watch the game together, where normal World Cups, you don't see nothing. You basically are like robots. So I'm excited because this World Cup's going to be unique. 70 miles, 8 stadiums. The whole world's going to be there. You can watch up to 2-3 games in a day. Teams are going to fly in, unpack their suitcases, not worry about nothing. All they do is just rock up to the games. One home. Which I think is really unique. Another thing to mention is what it's doing for the region. You know, UAE, the tourism, having the connection, seeing the development of sport here, being here for the weekend now, and seeing how amazing everything's around sport, and also inspiring the next generation, boys and girls. You know, I really, really think it's a massive impact on the region, and I think it's really, really good that sport's being backed in a big way in the Middle East.
No, definitely. You know, the way it has worked for UAE, I can tell you one thing: the rents have gone up. Yeah, the hotel rooms are booked and the flight tickets have become expensive. So that's for sure. But then, hey, let's put some markers. 3 teams that you think could probably have their hands on the cup by the end of it.
Listen, very quickly, we all know we say France, Brazil, Argentina. Obviously, you'll throw Germany. But for an outsider, and because England's done so well in the Euros, yes, they're going through a patchy part, but they've got one of the biggest leagues in the world, which is 7 hours away. 7 hours on a plane, coming with Harry Kane scoring however many goals, Phil Foden, all these players, Grealish, you name them. They pick up to 3 teams. They fly here, unpack their suitcases, 6 training sessions, and they're straight into it. It's seamless. And people say to me, oh, World Cup this time of the year? Well, it's amazing because I played 4 World Cups where I've already played 40 or 60 games. I have 2 weeks off. My body stops. We go away. We rest. And then we have to come back and do a mini pre-season.
Right.
And you have to put your levels up again. So I think we're talking about performance now. I think we're talking about the fans. I think we're connecting the world. And you look at UAE, Qatar, it's the hub of the world. It literally is 15 hours to Australia, America. We say India, we say Europe, England, it's Africa, you know. So, and also think an African nation, Samuel Eto'o, Cameroon, a dear friend of mine, president of the federation. Africa's really making a big push. Senegal, these sorts of countries, Ghana. So I'm excited. Hopefully the Asian nations can do us proud as well. But I'm going to go outside England.
Interesting.
Ooh,
that's a very interesting.
As an Aussie, that hurts a little bit.
For an Aussie, it's different. We've got a World Cup winner here. I'm sitting with him.
Yeah.
Like, it's the number 1, number 2 sport. Football in Australia is number 4.
Yeah.
Let's just be realistic. For football, when we qualify for a World Cup, it's like winning a World Cup.
Yeah.
Literally, you got to understand the metrics on this. It's so difficult to qualify for us. In cricket, this is like what they do. I wish one day we could get to that level where we dominate forever. And they've got a great player pathways. They're doing a great job. But just qualifying is amazing for us.
Cricket's obviously growing in the region. Our man here, Neil, was there last night at the trophy launch of the T20. You were there as well, Brett. I mean, what's that going to do for cricket in the region, having a T20 League here being played over January and February?
Look, it's going to be incredible. Promotion's the most important way to get cricket out here and to get the boys and girls and the schools playing it. The great thing too is that I found out last night that there'll be 2 local players in the 11, which is fantastic. They have to have mandatory 2 local players or players that are based here. So that's really going to educate and help these young kids come through. Some of the best names will be coming over, and this is just going to grow and grow and grow. But you've just got to land in Dubai. The way you're treated. I mean, I get treated very, very well in India. I've been going there for 27 years, but this place over here as well, which I haven't spent a lot of time in the UAE, the hotels, the food, the scenery.
Have you been to a brunch?
It is incredible.
Have you been to a brunch party here yet?
Well, the brunch party goes all day. That's the thing. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's an amazing place to come here. So it's going to do it wonders. Playing cricket here, the football, World Cup as well. I think we're in a pretty good place at the moment.
Yeah, you know what, Tim, you mentioned about India and you spoke about qualification, that if Australia qualifies for a football World Cup, it's almost like winning. India You've played in the ISL. You've had some experience playing with the lads over there. What are your thoughts about the boys in blue doing half of what they do in cricket?
I think it's important, to see the landscape of Indian football. I was there. Look, I was very lucky enough to play for Jamshedpur,
Right.
and great city. It was amazing. One of my mandates was to go to grassroots, go to the local schools, help with development of the game, our academy. I still spend a lot of time talking to McCool, the CEOs, people there now to support Indian football. They've got a great league, but the key is the pathway. You see, there's a lot happening with the federation, and there has to be grassroots, and there has to be a methodology and a blueprint implemented. It's funny enough, I was speaking to Virat Kohli a month ago about this, about Indian cricket, about football, and what these athletes do is they're pioneers. And to be a pioneer, you have to be at the height of your game, and they need to speak to the players. They need to speak to the athlete. I'm lucky that I'm an executive now. I help to run federations. I help to run football clubs. I also help to write blueprints and grassroots programs. And when you have the voice of a professional that's lived at the highest level, and you've got the suits, you've got the CEOs, you've got all the executives, it's good for everyone to listen. Like Brett talks a lot about ego, and ego is very important. When you finish the game, we have to pretty much put that aside. We had our time. It's not just because we're great players, we're telling you to take a breathing device or this is how to do a certain thing. What it is, it's an open, transparent conversation for the greater path of the game. And I think for India, if they can find that harmony and they can find the leadership, they have the population, which is most important. They have the high performance and they have the league. So let's bring it together. And like you talk about cricket in UAE, you talk about Qatar. Australia won the Asian Cup 2015. Qatar won it in 2019 with 300,000 population. Now, the metrics and the science behind that means there's been an investment into the pathway for Qatari athletes. So there's always got to be data that provides some case studies, and that's what I do. You have to research. You cannot be an ex-professional footballer and say, change a game like this because I scored in 4 World Cups, or I did this, or Binger's won a World Cup. So I feel it's important, and listening to Virat, and I know he's from a different sport and what they're doing with cricket, I think even in the cricket sense, if they listen to some of the top athletes and the educated ones and share the journey, I think it'll be the game has a lot of potential in India.
Well, we'd love to speak to you too for hours, but we know you've got a very important table tennis game to get back to before you get to some more formalities while you're here in Dubai. Brett Lee and Tim Cahill. Well, that's it. The website is Better Breathing Sport. This is a way to get a sporting advantage to really improve the overall sort of more so as a warm-up. It's a warm-up exercise and part of a daily routine, isn't it? That's the best way to look at it.
Yeah, just imagine when you brush your teeth in the morning, you spend a couple of minutes brushing your teeth. This is a way just to chill you out, a way to open up your airways. Do it before as soon as you hop out of bed, just before you go to bed, a really, really good way to relax yourself and sleep better as well.
And also hit us up on Instagram, Better Breathing as well, and mine and Brett's, because we've got guys that will answer questions. The team are amazing. Literally send questions, whatever you need. And we like to be interactive. We're 20 years together. It's not something where we're part of everything that happens within inside this group. So the fans will do some live Instagrams going forward, but this sort of communication feedback is always so important. So we appreciate your time, guys, for giving us the airtime as well.
No, thank you, Brett Lee and Tim Cahill, two legends of their sport. Thank you for joining us on TSB. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. So that website, again, is Better Breathing Sport. And it's great to speak to two absolute legends of their sport and realise they're actually nice people as well. Sometimes you don't want to meet your legends.
See, that's the thing, when you see them on the field, you see a different persona. And once they're off the field, it's a different character altogether. And that is what the real person is. Yesterday, Brett was there at that event which I was talking about, the T20 launch. And he came across as one of the nicest human beings that could be there. Talking about spinners, talking about fast bowlers. Simon, in fact, asked Wasim about the fast bowlers and asked Brett about the spinners, that who are his two favorite spinners. And he was like, he answered in a very simple way. And I loved that answer. He didn't really pick players. He said, someone who can bowl 3 deliveries. The one that comes in, the one that goes out, and the straighter one. And that's a good spinner.
You're on TSB, Talk Sport.